guys, welcome back to our channel. This is Yvonne from Ginger Chick Rehab, along with my husband Chris on our channel. If you are new here, we do thrift store flips. We take found thrift store items and we give them makeover, and we share the process of what we do with these items here on our channel. So in today's video, as you see, it is a bookshelf makeover. I picked up this bookshelf at a Goodwill out of town for $6.09, and it was teal. Yes, sir, folks, it was teal. Actually, with a spray painted can of teal. So this is a great makeover. I am super excited. I absolutely love how this turned out. Though the process of flipping furniture doesn't always go as you planned. So in this video, I will share the trials and errors of flipping furniture and what you see for an item and how to achieve the item. Doesn't always work out, but here on our channel, I don't always just like to show you how I do it. I like to show you that yes, I do fail, things happen, life goes unexpected. So in today's video, this is the story, let's say, of how we made over this beautiful bookshelf. So what caught my eye about this bookshelf first when I saw it in the thrift store is when I got close to it, it was real wood, which is hard to find around these parts, it seems like right now. So for $6.09, I'm like, okay, real wood, $6.09. This is a no-brainer. I know that teal color, ooh, but look at some of this detail on there. $6.09. Yep, it's coming home with me. And as you see, the bottom is missing. It should have had some doors on it. And then you should not be able to see light coming from the back through the front. So, yep, it needs a little work. Chris is going to start right off by taking this back off. It is not going to be salvageable. He just has to remove all the staples, nails, whatever it is that it is attached to the front. It's not in the best of shape, the back anyway, so just need to remove it and discard it. It is kind of funny how it was in two pieces, but that would probably make sense since it was supposed to have some doors on the front. Well, this was a randomly weird find. I kind of wanted to lift that bookshelf up, and one of Chris's coworkers noticed that somebody had this for free on the front of their property around the corner from where he works, which doesn't ever happen in these parts. Let me tell you, find anything free, it's not usually salvageable. So he went there on his lunch and it was still there. So look at, we got some spindles, yay, and then some pieces and parts to make some legs for this bookshelf. So when I thrifted this, I didn't even realize that this was supposed to have some doors on the bottom of it, but you can see the area where they were supposed to be able to slide in and out. Now they can't be very thick. They got to be pretty thin. So here he is measuring, and he has some hardboard like this that he's going to go ahead and make some doors for it. Now, I'd have to say that this is almost a perfect fit. That must have been made out of something similar to this. Maybe something a little bit harder, but hey, we already had this piece, and so it's working out. To give it a little bit of decorative, he's just going to go in and he cut up some quarter round that we had at hand. You just never know. That's why you can't throw a piece of wood away, because you never know what you're going to need. And since this is such a thin little quarter round and you got a thin board, he's just going to use some of the Starbond glue to adhere it. I know it's kind of hard to notice at this angle, but he did leave enough of a gap. He raised it up and lowered it down from where it needs to sit into the guides for it to slide back and forth, so it's not all the way to the edge. Now look at, we have two replacement doors. I know they don't look very good right now, but once it's all painted and it all matches, but how nice is that to have doors back on there? So now he's going to be removing this
decorative molding there. It had a little bit of something was missing on the one side, so he's gonna have to cut another piece because he will actually need that molding, because that will hide some of the legs that he's gonna use from that bed frame. So he's gonna have to, unfortunately or fortunately, whichever way you want to look at it, cut another piece because it was missing the chunk out of that curve. So oops, sometimes when you're removing pieces, a little extra piece comes off. I don't know if it was cracked or what, but he has to glue that back on because that is a major piece to keep it nice and level. So for a good tough bond, he's using the tight bond glue, and then for that, because it's really a hard place to stick a clamp in, that Starbond glue will act like a clamp and then instantly dry it and let that be a nice permanent bond. If you're interested in any Starbond products, we do have a link, a 15% off coupon code down in our description box for being an associate with them. So now he's just going to go to and trace out and try to make the same exact cut, close enough, a little bit thicker of wood, but that's okay. This is a Makeover, still solid wood, so we absolutely love it. So he's just going to trace, as soon as he finds his pencil, he's going to go ahead and trace that so he can cut it to length first. After getting cut it to length, he just now needs to trace the rest of it. So he can make it a matching aside for where that little piece of wood was missing. He's just flipping it upside down and then tracing it that way. Going to go ahead and go over to his bandsaw and trace his lines. This is something that I don't know. I may be able to use the bandsaw, but I'm still chicken. That cut leaves it with a sharp edge, so he's just going to take it over to his sander and make it nice and smooth. So it will match the other pieces like it's old and worn, just like those other pieces of wood on that bookshelf. Now time to get some legs made from this bed. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited that he randomly found this free item. Oh my gosh. So what he's doing is he's just taking that end post and he's cutting it in half to make 2 front legs. And then as you see, there's 2 straight pieces that were from that bed frame. I didn't care. We're going to paint those to match the entire thing. So just the decorative on the 2 on the front, not to waste our free find. That does not happen for us very often. So just 2 decorative on the front. So now he's just getting some tight bond glue. He's going to get these nice and secured to this piece. Then after getting them glued, clamped, and then make sure they're square, he's going to drill some holes so he has some place to screw them in, so that these will be nice and secure and we won't have any worries of them coming loose or coming off. Now the downside is that, yep, they have a lot of space that needs filled in. So he's just using some Durham water putty. Hey, they were free. Durham water putty's not that much money, so a little bit of water, some Durham water putty, and a lot of fill. And he's also using the Durham water putty to cover up the screws where he just drilled holes and put screws in to keep those legs nice and tight. So now comes the fun part of removing as much of this teal paint as we can. I'm not really sure. I think it's like a semi-gloss. I don't know. So we just tag team to get most of this. I didn't want it to bleed through, cause any problems on the final finish. So we're just going to take as much down since it's real wood. It's sanding off. Oh my gosh, I do love those the sandpaper that we bought from his salesman at work. Oh my gosh, they just destroy paint. Like, I just love them. I'll link them. You can buy them from their company, but oh, well worth the money, because this is the first time I've ever reused a piece of sandpaper without having to throw it out after one use. Now our goal was not to remove all of it, especially from the underneath where you're not really going to see that. Just that main area of the bottom of the doors and the sides and the top is where we wanted to remove the paint. And then there's always those little areas that you just can't get orbital sander in there or the Black & Decker sand, because you don't want to make it go into the wood. So sometimes you just have to go in and hand sand areas. I was loving on this sandpaper so much. I'm like, I wonder if I could fold this over and be able to sand the finish off of these legs. Oh my gosh, look at it. It just destroyed that finish on there. And yep, these bad boys are staying natural. Well, I'm glad that I was able to get that finish off, and I'm going to be able to leave these a natural color. But as you see, the other pieces are going to need painted anyway. Now, as we were going to town sanding on this, we definitely noticed that, something's not quite right here. You see that gap, and you should not see the gap. So what he's going to do is he's clamping it together, that maybe the wood has warped over time. They had really little finishing nails holding these shelves in against this piece of wood. So what he's going to do is he's first clamping it, hammering it with a rubber mallet, making sure that it's back into place, and then he's going to be pre-drilling a hole and then putting screws in so that we don't have to worry about this coming apart on anybody again. I'm now going to go through and cover up everywhere he had to pre-drill and do a screw in, but well worth it. Now we know that this piece is going to be nice and secure, nice and tight. Yeah, I always feel like it's the halfway point when you get to the cleaning step. So now that we've got it all prepped, getting it so much closer to ready to paint, everything needs to be wiped off. Anything grease, grime, dirt, cleaning products, leftover, whatever have you, just some Superclean and some hot water. Since I took the time to get all that other original finish off of these legs, I did do just a Walmart bag, Myers bag, whatever your grocery bag, and just wrap it around and put some masking tape. So the final results of this piece is going to be a little bit of distressing. So I'm going around with the black onyx, the ready-to-use paint from Walmart right off the shelf, and just painting the corners, the sharp edges, the details in black to give it a nice undercoat. So when I go to distress it, that black shows through. So to make sure I see that black when I go in to distress it, I'm going to seal that black in using some Rust-Oleum clear coat. So for the paint color, I ordered a Chippy Barn paint off of the interweb, and you just hope that when you're taking that little sample from the computer screen, that is something that you're going to like. It's just really hard to order online, especially paint colors. So anyway, Chris is mixing it up just like you do a chalk paint. So he's watering it down. He's going to be using the sprayer. So just making sure that he stirred in all those yummies from the bottom of the can, making sure that it's watered down properly, that it's not worming on the top, meaning that the paint is not laying on top of the other paint as you're lifting the paint stir up. That way it's just, when you lift that up, it should just be one with the paint. That way you know that it's properly mixed with the water. You hate it when you think you hit record on your camera. So as Chris is spraying this just so nicely for you all to see, nope, the camera was not on. So this is what it looks like with its first coat on the one side. We're using the Graco True Shot sprayer. Absolutely love the power of that thing. Did any of you all, do you follow me on Instagram? If you don't, you should. This was one of our Instagram stories. We dropped the paint, and now there's not enough paint left to finish the project. Off to Home Depot I went to pray that they could color match. I just took the dried paint stick, the putty color from Chippy Barn is what I color matched it with, and prayed that they could. So as you see, there is not enough paint left whatsoever. You can't really even scrape it off the floor. There probably is going to be particles in it. That's just going to make for a terrible paint job. Only one side of it is done. But when I was talking to the lady at the counter at our local Home Depot, she suggested this for painting furniture. And I'm like, well, what is that? So she showed me, it's a scuff. Look at that. So the top is the scuff, and then one that's not that type of paint makes marks. So hey, why not? And I have to say that the gallon of the paint from Home Depot and the quart from Chippy Barn were the same price. Ouch.
When it comes to this paint, it is just there. You have to get the sheen that it's a matte sheen, which was perfect because that's what we like to paint, matte flat. So perfect for us. Still gonna water it down because we're using the paint sprayer. Gonna still take that rule of thumb that it doesn't worm on top of the paint to know that it's properly mixed. So now I can get some video of Chris actually spraying it. Hey, you know what? I don't know. Maybe you guys have never spilled paint. What is that saying? Don't cry over spilled milk. You just have to move on and problem solve. Yes, we could have changed the color. It was 2 weeks it took for the Chippy Barn to paint to come. So I'm on the fence about ordering paint online. One, I'm hard on the color match. Two, oh my gosh, do I order 2 quarts, which is not cost efficient for one project at all. But I absolutely do love this color. I love that our Home Depot will color match for us. So we still got the job done. And I have to say I am very glad that this was only $6.09 for this bookshelf, because that buying another gallon definitely is starting to cut into your profit cost. Oh yes, let's not forget about those cute little drawers that he made up for this. Oh my gosh, just so cute and tiny. Did go through with a brush and try to brush them just in case we did have to change colors. At least that would have the same base coat as the bookshelf itself. I'm going to be using some wallpaper. I ordered this wallpaper off of Amazon. I like that black. I love the pattern. I love the contrasting of this tan putty color with the black and the white. I think it's just going to make it pop. So luckily I wasn't trying to color match. I did another bookshelf that I was trying to color match the paint from 2 online sites, so that was a little bit on the hard side. So don't you just love this pattern? I love the big flowers. Flowers are just a nice seller. Yep, yeah, of course I found some black and white. So I'm just rolling out the first piece is always the easiest when it comes to wallpaper. So I'm just rolling it out and getting what I need. Now this is a peeling stick wallpaper, so no wetting, no glue you need to apply. It's supposed to be repositional, so you're supposed to be easily able to take it down if you want. So of course I'm starting right off with that top line right in the corner, trying to make sure that I stay straight on the one side. And this is just one of those that you have to have a lot of patience when you're doing a wallpaper. So just gently guiding it down so you don't get any air pockets. It's not shifting off to the one side. I do notice that the peel and stick does stretch vinyl, kind of like vinyl does, where it stretches. So I'm just going to work gingerly as I'm removing that back protective piece as I'm rolling it down. So now I'm just going to use the X-Acto knife to remove the excess that I did. It's better to have more than you need than not enough. I don't think it'll stretch that far, so I'm just running it across the back of the board with this very sharp X-Acto knife. That first piece is always the easy piece. I don't have to match up anything, so now I need to find the reoccurring pattern on this roll. Now I'm just going to use a little bit of tape just to hold it down as I roll out the piece so I can cut off the excess off the roll. There's a little too much off to the side, so I'm going to go ahead and cut off some of that excess. Not to cut it too short. I'm not going to butt that up against the edge quite yet. I'd rather be safe than sorry. So now it's time to begin actually sticking it down. So I'm just removing that back protective on it, and it's just going to start matching up. I'm just going to start a little bit in the corner and then just work gingerly down. I do find that this peel and stick does stretch a little bit, so I got to be careful not to stretch it too awful much. After getting all that matched up,
as best as I could. I know there's probably little sections here and there that are off. I'm just taking the heat of the blow dryer, helping get rid of any air pockets, making sure that it's good into here to the back of that. I don't know if it's traditional. I don't care. It's my DIY, and this is what is making me feel better, getting this stuck on and making sure that it matches. So when I ordered the Chippy Barn top coat, I guess I should have read a little bit more, because on the back of it, it has it's not recommended for tabletops. It's not recommended, I'm like, anywhere that water can lay. So I chose not to use it. I know I bought it, but now I don't want to use it because I like my items to last, and I don't know if somebody's going to put a plant on there and water's going to leak, so I chose to not use it. We have a couple hoppers that we keep top coat in anyway, so we're just going to go back to that anti-Salon. I know that this is safe because it's safe for exterior, so just going to mix it up. It's nice and thick. You can water it down, perfect for a sprayer. So this is just one of those Harbor Freight hoppers. They're nice and very reasonable just to keep on hand. They hook up to your air compressor, and just a nice way to always have a top coat ready when you're ready for it. Now it's time to put that back on. Now this back, Chris cut a new piece for it. That way it's all one piece. If you remember from the beginning of the video, it was two pieces. So now that it's all one piece. And so what he's doing here is he put a little piece of tape on the side where the shelves are. That way he knows where he can staple into. So he's going to start off with the four corners first, get that stapled, and then work his way down. So that ruler comes in handy because that way he can make a mark across and he knows where he can staple in. Nothing like having a staple go through into nothing and then you having to take it out. Now that he's got that back on, I could have done this either way. I could have distressed it before he put the back on, but of course I waited till after he put the back on to go around and distress all my edges, showing some of that black, all this detail that we took the time to paint. I'm just using the fine grit sanding sponge just to make sure that the piece is nice and smooth. And then to finish this piece up, I'm just going to go in with some of the Chippy Barn wax. Chris says it smells really good. We got the orange scented one using the anti-Salon wax brush. And I got a question. Yes, I do wash that off every time with just some Dawn dish soap. I'm not sure if that's right. And then wipe off any excess. So once Chris started reattaching those little doors, I just thought, I love that he made the doors. I love that we put the wallpaper behind, but I don't know, they just don't pop enough for me. So he's just testing out, seeing what it all looks like. Sometimes you have to see things together before you're like, that needs a little something. Now for me, I didn't have any stencil flowers that match. I'm a matchy person. If you're new to my channel, I'm a kind of a matchy person. And then I just thought that would be too much wallpaper to put that wallpaper on the exterior of those doors. So my decision was just to go in with some of this anti-Salon black paint and just paint the rim. That little one by that Chris put on there. Isn't that funny here? It was already black at one point and then we sprayed it. But yeah, it is what it is. Sometimes you remember what I always say, do a project until you love it. If you're wondering, I did take a Clorox wipe on those edges to get the wax off that I had put on, and then did the anti-Salon paint, and then sealed it in with some Rust-Oleum Clear matte spray. Then just by chance in our stash of knobs, we had these wooden knobs that almost perfectly matched the legs that Chris had put on.
So I thank you for watching the video, guys. And yep, I am going to share. I'm not sure about the ordering of paint online. Ouch, that really hurt to have to go and buy some new paint, but I absolutely, it was God wink moment. Here is a different type of paint that I can buy locally. I absolutely love ordering paint. I love trying to, there's hardly anything local. I'm trying to test out paint. What do? I know there's a whole world and the whole YouTube world, but in the bottom line, you just have to do what works for you. And I guess I have to say, finding stuff locally or ordering multiple cans that hopefully you are in love with the color when you get it. So I hope that I have inspired you, and I hope that I've shared our journey just a little bit, that no, things don't always go perfectly, but it's always the end results. Like I say, always do something until you love it. If you love it, others are going to love it too. So thank you again for watching today's video, and I hope I have inspired you. I hope that you work through anything that ever comes up when you're flipping a piece, not only just a furniture piece, even a small piece. If problems come up, that's why I share them on our channel, that I can share that. Okay, let's problem solve, let's get through this. So I hope that I have helped you in any way when we share our fails and how to work through them and how to achieve them. We bought this piece of furniture. I'm not setting it off to the side. I am going to complete it. This furniture is not going to win. Okay, maybe I'm competitive, but anyway, so thank you for watching today's video. And if you're part of our YouTube family, thank you so much. And if you are new to our channel, enjoyed this kind of content, just hit that subscription button along with the notification bell so you know when we've uploaded a new video. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.